we'll slowly get started, and hopefully, if anybody else is joining, they'll pop in soon. So, good morning. My name is Andrew Stibbards. I'm an instructor here with Sunset Learning Institute. I teach a little bit of everything. I do routing and switching, Wi-Fi, security. I do both Cisco and Arista instruction. So just get into a little bit of everything. And I want to talk to you today about Cisco U. All right, so the new tool for learning from Cisco and how Sunset Learning is working with that tool, working with Cisco to help you just learn more. And I'm approaching this from the perspective as the instructor, as someone who wants you to learn things. How does this tool actually help you? So our plan for today, we're going to go through a little bit of a demo on Cisco U. We're going to talk about what it is overall. We'll do a little demo. I'm just going to do a lot of show and tell, share my screen out. You can just see exactly what this tool actually does and how to use it. We'll go over a couple of the frequently asked questions, but really I'm open to whatever questions you have. They might overlap with some of the frequent ones. And we'll talk about a little promotion, little offer that we've got going on, again, because of our partnership with Cisco. Out of the hundreds, I'll say hundreds, dozens, many dozens of learning partners worldwide, Sunset Learning, it falls into the Platinum Learning Partner category. So we always get some of the fun work, the fun deals with Cisco. But anyway, let me stop sharing the slideshow here. Let's just go straight into the tool. Let's take a look at what this actually can do for us. All right, and let me share my screen out here, navigating multiple monitors and whatnot. All right, so sharing screen one here. So here is Cisco U. Now, so we log in, pretty simple URL, u.cisco.com. For anyone who's worked with Cisco before, you're familiar with their little naming convention for the websites. Log in with your Cisco account. Now, I'm logged in twice. I'm going to show you the two different, multiple levels of access because, yes, there are different tiers for what you get out of this. So first off, pretty simple to use graphical interface. Has anyone ever heard the joke about the intuitive graphical interface? If you have to explain it, it's not really intuitive. So I don't feel that way about Cisco U. I feel like this is actually a pretty easy to use tool. So first off, they'll say for you, they've got a for you section where they're using AI. They're using pattern modeling to see what courses have you taken, what learning paths have you completed to make suggestions about what you might also be interested in. So that way you don't have to go hunt for all the different things, all the different pieces in the tool. It'll make suggestions to you. But you can also just hit this explore button and just explore through all the content. Before we get there, I just right up front want to address the different plans. All right, so Cisco U is a subscription-based tool. And first off, there's a free level. That's what I'm going to show you right here with this my first account, where it's just totally free, 100%. You make a Cisco account tomorrow, totally free. You get access to all the podcasts, webinars, there's different assessments. And when it says digital communities, it links into the already existing Cisco forums, the Cisco communities like the contact center community, data center community, security community. Why reinvent the wheel? Those communities, everyone already knows where they are. But if you weren't aware of those communities, you were not aware of those different forums and the community, there's a large number of folks who participate there, this tool links into. So we'll take a look at those. And then just in the free section, the network automation learning path. So I could just start that learning path today and take that training and start assessing my skill. I'd start, increasing my skills. They've got an essentials path where currently there's a discount this is for a 1-year level of access. You get everything in free, plus you start to get more courses, more of the Cisco courses, Cisco learning paths. And this is cool. I'm going to show you this. Multi-vendor. As the instructor in the room, the reason I really like this tool is because I log into it once with my single Cisco account and I get access to Microsoft, Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Cisco training, and possibly more to come in the future. But for now, definitely those three, AWS, Azure, and Cisco. And so I'm looking at like, I don't have to juggle multiple accounts and multiple tools. I go to one location. I love that. There's also some soft skills training. And here's the big one that everyone loves: labs. Can't tell you how many times in the classroom we get asked, hey, can we get more lab time? Well, how long do we have access to the labs? Can we get an extension on labs? Everyone loves labs. So through using the tool, it's whenever you want, you can spin up labs. So I'll show you that. Take a look. And then they've got the all access level where it's all the multi-vendor training, whereas the essentials is just some of the multi-vendor training. It goes up to the professional level certification learning paths. So classic terminology, we call those our professional level training courses, like CCNP level. And then every single lab is available. And we can click on this and see, take a link over here to the different titles. It links us over to the Explore page and sees what's included at those different levels. There's also an enterprise plan, contact sales if you're interested. All right, so just be aware, just right up front, there's 3 different tiers. You get the prices right there. We'll talk about the SLI offer at the end here, and that's what's included. All right, so let's see here. Oops, wrong button. Here we go. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the different logins and what you see. So I'm logged in with my first account. If I go under Explore, you can actually see everything. It's not going to hide it from you just because you don't have the right tier. If you're curious, like, does the tool have a particular course, a particular learning path that I'm interested in, you can see if it's there or not, just you won't be able to access it if you don't have the correct plan. So for example, I'm on the free tier here, but I can see all of the learning paths. There's a search function on the left. You can break down by type, by technology, by level, by publisher. I'm so happy about multi-vendor trainings. I'll take a look at that later. But you can see the little dollar sign there tells you, hey, that's not part of your plan. But let's take a look. How much is it not being hidden? How much can I see? Let's look at ENSDWI, the SD-WAN Solutions course, which this one's kind of funny. I teach this course. So I can click on this to see, well, what does it contain? It tells me the level of the course, estimated hours. This is a 5-day training course. And so, yeah, that's a 30 hours there. When it says 16 courses, don't get overwhelmed. Don't say, oh my gosh, it's 16 different courses. They've changed the terminology. So call it 16 chapters, 16 lessons in this overall lesson plan. All right. But it's the 16 sections, 16 courses that make up the overall learning path. Okay. So just slightly different terminology. It's got labs, it's got assessments. And this is the cool part. This is where sometimes we get the question, it's come up a couple times already, where Cisco's had their CDLL, the Cisco Digital Learning Library. And folks say, well, I've got CDLL, why do I need Cisco U? For me, the big one is the assessments, the pre-assessments, the post-assessments. These are in-depth, not like 2 or 3 questions, not like, did you understand the chapter? These are, I actually did one last night, so I can show it to you. These are 65, 55 question long assessments that really model the way the exams ask their questions. Yes, as someone who's taken many Cisco exams, I can safely say, I'm not going to tell you exactly what's on the exam, but I can safely say that the assessments in Cisco U are very similar. They are a great way to train, to learn, to plan for the exams. But so anyway, back to the plans, back to the different stuff here. So I can see ENSDWI, it'll give me the course breakdown, and I can even look at the different sections like SD-WAN deployment and onboarding. It shows me the different sections. I can do the pre and post, I can see the pre and post assessment, but if I click the pre-assessment, I don't actually get access. If I look at examining SD-WAN architecture here, It says that I actually don't have access to that. So that's why that's not changing. I'll try to deploy WAN edge devices like that, don't actually have access. But I can use this. I can use this to verify, hey, this learning path exists. This section, this course exists. And that way I'm not just paying for a course, jumping into a learning path. I'm like, I'm not sure if this actually fits my needs. I can actually inspect it beforehand. All right. Now, if I go back to my other account here, let's pivot over to my second one here. Now, this account, all right, this account has full access to everything. I see there's a couple questions. I'm going to get to the Q&A at the end, unless somebody else wants to answer a couple. I will get to those questions towards the end. So this account has full access to everything. All right. So when I look at everything here, let's go back to that same course here, ENSDWI. All right. Notice that $ is gone. This account has full access. I can jump in here and say, all right, let's go to first section here, SD-WAN deployment onboarding, examining SD-WAN architecture. Let's spin that up. And I'm in the course now. Talk about overlay management protocol, start running through watch the videos. It tracks my progress through all the different sections. I can jump ahead of like, oh yeah, I know about control plane. I want to jump to the data plane. I can do that. And it keeps track of my progress through that overall course. Again, this course is being part of the overall learning path. So if I go back to the learning path overview, I can see that I've started that one. My learning path completion is now 0.33%. And then the one everyone's really interested in, labs. All right, so let's go into policies. I believe in this section, there's a lab for implementing application-aware routing. And so I got a little icon in here where is this a dialogue? Is this a video? Is this text to read, or is it a lab? So I could say, oh yeah, do I want to launch the application-aware routing lab? Which should take me about 45 minutes, so might not start this right before I go to bed. Gives me a rundown of what I want to do. Gives me the activity steps, says click here, do this, do this. For anyone who's taken SD-WAN training before, it's that classic Vitel interface. And I'll say launch. And now it's going to be spinning up my lab. All right. So for anyone who's taken training with me or taken Cisco training before, you might recognize this is the same lab environment, same lab interface that we use in class. So it's not a completely different lab. It's not we're not reinventing the wheel. It's the same labs. But I could spin this up whenever I wanted. So that's what we're seeing from a training side. Okay, let me go back to the Explore menu here. So, excuse me. So I've got learning paths, like I said, which are multiple courses, multiple sections. And classically, we'd call this a course. We'd call this a class. We call it a learning path now with all its different sections. And on the left, we can break it up. Like I said, we've got podcasts. Those are available at the free level. Just go through, define those by type, which kind of podcasts you want to look for. I'm not going to click on all these filters, but tutorials for events. Anyone been to Cisco Live or a partner event? And so a lot of those good presentations we at the Cisco Live or partner events, like, well, hey, why don't we just give that to everybody? And so we also have upcoming events that we can see in there. There's a lot of content. Let's go down to, there's filter by levels. Let's go down to the other multi-vendor stuff because I know everyone's really interested in AWS and Azure. So Skillsoft. Skillsoft hosts the training for a lot of the AWS work. And so I want to emphasize this a little more here. When we say multi-vendor training, we're not saying here's the Cisco integration with that vendor training, right? It's not just here's the training that's relevant just to Cisco. It's here's training for that vendor. So take a look at this course right here, AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. I took that course, got that cert just over about 2 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. So this is a one-day class, little 8-hour training, 12 different sections, and there's a lab at the end. And this course, it's an intro to what is AWS, what are the concepts, what are the security principles, some initial best practices, not everything, but it's 1 day's worth of training, scraping the surface. And if I go in here, I can go in to spin up a lab, and we links over to using a tool called Percipio, where I can launch an estimated hour and a half lab to be working on an AWS environment. So I'm using Cisco U to gain AWS skills. What's another one in there? Let's go to Microsoft. Everybody loves Microsoft. Let me uncheck Skillsoft. I'll check the Microsoft box, and we got, look at all the learning paths. So full learning paths specifically for Microsoft Azure. And you got identities and governance, resources, so data concepts. Notice I'm not, with all due respect to Cisco, I don't see the word Cisco in there anywhere, because this is training just on that thing. So that's why I say this is the tool. Cisco U becomes the one tool where I want to learn more about Cisco and all of their different training, all their different learning paths, or I want to learn more about the cloud. I can just go look at Azure and AWS. All right. For community, I mentioned the communities here. Close that out here. So I can just show you a quick link. These communities already exist. You may not have, I'm really happy they put them on one page here, because I've talked to students in the classroom where they're unaware that these communities exist, that it's not just me, they can ask questions, they could ask this dedicated group. So let's say CCNA, everybody loves CCNA, everybody knows CCNA. If I go to my CCNA community here, it links over to the existing CCNA certification community. There's pinned posts, articles, there's got the different blogs, got the different languages, and that now you're in, now you're participating in that community. The big one about what, 4 years ago was the CyberOps. Everyone was so excited when Cisco got really into the cybersecurity certification track, and this community blew up overnight. Like, it did not exist, and there were Facebook groups, because there wasn't a single place to share information. Now there's a community, and all those Facebook groups pretty much died out. Everyone came here to share their experience, share their knowledge. So those communities are great places to ask questions, great places to just learn more from everyone else about that topic. All right. One of the last parts I definitely want to mention is continuing education. So one of the things that Cisco changed back in February of 2020, just before everything shut down, is now you can use continuing education to renew any Cisco cert. Now, it used to be just CCIEs, which is great if you have a CCIE, but for all of us with just CCNP and specialist and associate level certs, that doesn't really help. So now you can use your continuing education credits to renew anything, any cert, and that includes taking training on Cisco U. So on my account here, let me go back to the courses I've started here. So I've got my CCNA course. Everyone knows CCNA. I use this as a great example. I've started taking this learning path. And when I hit 100% completion, I will have done that training. So, well, Andrew, how do I know you actually did the training? How do I know you didn't just click through all the menus and completed, air quotes, the training? Well, see this little check mark here under the network fundamental section? That goes back to those assessments. I mentioned I did one last night. The pre-assessment doesn't actually count toward completion of the course. It's just a way to help you say, do I already know this section? Can I skip over this section? But the post-assessment, like I said, did that last night, about 65 questions. 65 questions in depth, covering everything they talk about in that course. And if you get a passing grade on the post-assessment, then that section, that course is done. So I can close that one and say, all right, I have done network fundamentals. I'm 20% complete. Now I'll go over to network switching and so on. So once I have completed all of these sections, I have passed those assessments with a passing grade. That's what, and done the labs. I have to do the labs as well. And I do the labs. That's what proves I have done that training. Then I can go put in for the continuing education credits, just like any other course. We just did a webinar on continuing education credits. Check that video out later. Let us know if you have any questions. But for the application process is the same. We just say, I got this training, I got these credits from doing the digital learning, not from in-person instructor-led training. So that's how we do the continuing education. We do the training, go through the course, do the assessments, do the labs. And when that learning path completion hits 100%, I have done the class. I have proven with the assessments, I've done the class. I can go put in for my continuing education credits there. All right. I think that's everything I definitely wanted to cover. So let me bring up my Q&A here. So I see a question here. Let me just answer out loud, just for the benefit of everybody. What paths are or aren't available in Cisco U? Last I checked, they have no contact center content. So yes, so Cisco U is, we'll say, relatively new. It's new. And they have not pushed all of their content into it yet. They are actively working on that week over week. We see more courses show up. There was actually one, it was it a data center course? There was one I was looking at the other day where I said, oh, hey, this course is not available. The next day, they're like, oh yeah, it's up now. So yes, not all courses are in Cisco U right now, but if it's not in Cisco U, it will exist on the CDLL, the Cisco Digital Learning Library. And so Cisco's working to move all those over, just not there yet. I see Lisa talking about Bill there. Cool. Yeah, if there's any other questions, let me know. We just answered that question there. I guess for what's not available, and Lisa had to think about contact center training also moving over. Under that view plan section, you can also see they break down more the different levels between free, essentials, and all access. I will stress that all 3 levels qualify for continuing education credits. So for free, like you log in, and let me pivot back over to that other account. So this is my free account. And if I go to my Explore, if I say, show me all the learning paths and show me all the free ones, well, it's just the one. Dev, NAE, Cisco Network Automation Essentials. I could just start that right now for free. Take this course. And I will have to double check, but I believe this is it's a 28-hour. I believe this is around 32, 36 continuing education credits. I'll have to double check on that. So don't quote me on that one. But this is worth continuing education credits, taking this training. I could just do that for free right now. In addition to entire learning paths, if I want to filter it by individual courses, so again, these are the individual sections within the different learning paths. Let's say I want to filter that by security. I like security. Security is always a fun concept. We can break that out by level, break that out by publisher, based on which subscription level you're at. And let's say I want beginner level security. And this is still cross vendor. Got some Cisco training courses. If I go down here, let's say Skillsoft. All right, some basic AWS security training. Now, unfortunately, I'm here on my my all access account. So this doesn't get access to the free level. So if I filter it by free, there's nothing there. But so it does require the subscription levels to get to the multi-vendor content. But I can share, security versus performing security assessments. Let me open this up. There we go. And I can go through, start going through that training. Oh, don't start that. Start going through that course, start learning that information, take a test there at the end to verify my knowledge and go from there. This is a really great tool. Like I can't tell you enough how much in class I'm going to be telling my students about this, because this tool is going to give them the community to talk to. It's going to give them additional resources. It's going to give them additional labs that, when the 5-day training resources run out, here's what you've got for the rest of the year. And one last thing I'll say about that, I like to tell folks in class, nobody catches everything in 5 days. I can talk for 5 days straight and you will not remember what I say on Thursday and Friday. So I love having a tool that you go to it throughout the year. You keep checking in. You don't stop learning. And it's more than just Cisco, that we just keep learning throughout the year with this one tool. So let me know if there's any other questions. Let me know if there's any other things you're interested. You want me to like search for a particular course, interested in FAQ, can take a look there. Excuse me. There's no recommendations for me in the tutorials or learning paths because I haven't done enough yet. So it can't give me a recommendation because it hasn't built a pattern. The AI doesn't know what I'm interested in yet. But once I do more, it'll start recommending tutorials, once learning paths. It's already got some recommended courses based on what I've been clicking on. So it wants me to do a lot of that Unity, Unified Attendant, WebEx. So there's some contact center work, IM presence in Java. There's some contact center content there. Let's take a look here under my learning paths, some collaboration. Oh, there's Clicka, CLCEI. There you go. Got some collaboration stuff in there. Nice. DevNet Associate. Sure. Let's go under collaboration. Oh, turn that one off. Actually, let me see, what is that one called? What is the acronym for that? Let's say DevNet. You got DevCore. Let's filter by learning paths. You got DevCore, which that's the CCNP developer core that everyone takes. ENAUI, so that's under the enterprise track. That's the automation implementation course. Got DevOps. Let's do beginner level. Dev ASC. There we go. Developing applications, automating workflows using Cisco core platforms. So that's the only beginner course they've got in there, but it's a beginner course, and so that would be a great way to start learning about that. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, I know a lot, but I don't remember every acronym for every course. So there you go. So let's take a look. So pre-assessment, post-assessment, designing software, APIs. Let me try this out here. Let's see. I don't know all the sections. Oh, look at that. There's a lab utilizing Docker, manage local developments. They give you the lab guide. Again, step 1, step 2, click here, click here. Let's initialize my lab. Yes, you can show me notifications. So my lab is queued up. You can see on the right-hand side here, the lab for this course. It's going to be spinning up here in a second. We see this in class. Through the different generations of Cisco training, there's like 3 different lab environments that get utilized. And so you'll see different menus show up depending upon which lab environment the lab is hosted in. Some labs, there's actual hardware on the back end. Some labs, they're entirely virtualized. So initialization time for 100% virtualization labs, the initialization time is less than 5 minutes, less than 2 minutes sometimes. For labs where there's actual hardware or VMs getting spun up, or VMs on dedicated hardware, I should say, something like this, where it might take a solid 15 minutes to initialize. So I'm not going to sit around and wait for that right now. But yeah, I could say, all right, it's going to take me a couple minutes here. Let me go refresh my coffee, come back, and I'll jump into the lab. So yep, that one's in there. It's got the labs, it's got the content. And if I go to my learning path overall, I am now 0.44% completion on that learning path. So there we go. Excellent. Cool. Any other questions, interests? And again, don't have to have questions right now. If you have questions in the future, feel free to reach out with any questions later. Cool. Oh, and there's a little feedback button. Last thing. There's a little feedback button here where we can submit feedback to Cisco and say, is it a bug? Well, it might be a bug, might be a feature. Who knows? That was a joke. We can give survey and feedback to them, let them know how the tool is working. All right, so I'll stop sharing my screen here. Just one last call for questions. Things making sense? Again, I'm going to be talking about this tool. I'm in my classroom right now. I'm going to be talking about this tool in class every week now because I'm going to want my students to get it, because this is going to help them not just with whatever one class they're taking now, but then the next class, the next class, the next entire technology area they're interested in. This is the tool that it's going to help them on that journey. Excellent. See that message there. All right, cool. Well, feel free to head out. I think that's it for us. We did our introductory offer, did the Q&A. All right, I think that's it. Hope everybody has a great Thursday, and look forward to seeing you in class sometime.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.